Hello, and welcome to the box room. I have been busy. I have not been recording much. Actually, not that I've been busy. I just haven't been doing much of anything. So, here we have the 64 that continues to be tested, and it still reports the same thing as it runs through the thing over and over and over and over again. And are they things of significance? I don't know. I don't even know what version of the board is in this machine because, see, this is the 64C. It could have been the new version with the Super PLA chip, which I don't like. Oh, there we go. Or it could not have been. You know what? I think it's time to turn this off and pull things out of here and set things where I know where they are, of course. But pull them out. The cartridge is out. That is out. We're still missing a key, and of course, what helps hold this up? Look. It's the remnants of a Commodore 64 power supply that I snipped the wires off. It did read 5.23. It was good. It was fine. But the 9 volts was toast. Somehow it was toast. So someday this may end up surrounding my garden. Although if I do that, I think I need to chop off like right close. But anyway, I digress. Shocking as that might be. I don't even know where to put this. I don't know. Well, I guess I'll put it down amongst the things. No. You know what? Things are getting so full here, I don't have room to put it down amongst the things to be tested. Anyway, that does not need to be tested. So, and of course, what do we see? We see the Torx thing, because I want to find out what board is in here. Now, there is one hint sometimes you can find, and that is by looking through the bottom and seeing where you can see things or not. I think this is a little short board. That means that it has the Demon Super PLA chip, I think. But I would be most pleased to be wrong. So this is, in fact, these are Torx screws. And I must be careful. I do not want to lose them. 2 are out. 1 is not. Come on. I know you're free. Just come on out. Okay. 3 screws. I will put them very carefully right here by the 1541. Brush away a little dust. We're going to need this again. And by the way, this is, if you're not sure, this little bit is a T10. Torx 10. That is what opens this machine. Now, I believe inside, once we get inside, because there's little clips on the side here, and you got to kind of gently urge them off, urge the top off. Without breaking anything, of course. Okay. So I believe now the top should just gently, probably not been off here since it was first put on. We don't want to break things. Okay. And yeah, I think this is a little board. Okay, so we unplug this. This is funny, this wire is wrapped around these other wires, which I have not seen before. But, you know, things happen. See, because they didn't know which board would be going into these things. See, the LED thing for the power is very close to where it would be on this case. But the LED on the other boards is way at the other side. So they had to put in a wire long enough to reach there. So, because once again, you didn't always get the little new magical board. By the way, this case is lovely. Lovely. I don't see any signs of yellowing or scratches or damage. It's lovely. I think some of you will remember I had a very yellow case that had been in a school, and it had been, well, it was all marked up with school markings, but also it was horribly yellowed. Horribly. I've had it in the sun now, no chemicals, no anything, for, well, between 2 and 3 weeks. I should check it out. I know it's improving. So here, on the inside, we have 2 screws. They are not Torx 10s. They are Phillips. And they... Come on, I know you're ready. I think you're ready. Why aren't you coming out? Some screws. Oh, there we go. Okay, so far we've taken out 5 screws, and we're almost there. Now the keyboard should then slide up, and I should be able to pull it off. And I can. And the keyboard is quite nice, except of course for the missing key and this upside down key. Now as I'm here, and I can, I think I will try doing something, because I can get out of this, and I have often found that scissors are a good help to this, because you can kind of get under the key on both sides and gently rock it. So I take the scissors, I put them under the key, this is the upside down key, and I gently pry and rock the key. Ah! Yes, it went well. In that, the stem did not break. Oh dear. Maybe I can use the scissors to pick this up. See, I'm sitting... Oh dear. Excuse me. I'm sitting on a very low chair. There we go. Ta-da! That does not make it easy to get all the way down to the floor. Anyway, so now that the key is turned over, and let's see if we can do this here. I got to take the spring off, because if I don't take the spring off, the spring will fall, and I will lose it. But here is the keyboard. As you can see, there's a thing there that has the little thing that should be there, and there's one that doesn't. Now, I'm not taking the keyboard apart right now, but what I can do is put the spring back on and turn the key over that should be there, that is there, and then pop it back on. And so now, instead of a keyboard with an upside down key, the keys are all good, except for the one that isn't good. It's missing the 0 key. But the keyboard looks very good, although, looking closely at the letters, if I was ever going to pass this on or sell this or do whatever, I would do the thing where I would take a plastic bag. I would take all the keys off, hoping never to break a stem, but things happen. And I would put these in a Ziploc bag with some warm water and soap, and I would let them soak, maybe for a day or so. And certainly shake them at the beginning and here and there as things went on. Because there are, although it looks good, just looking at it, it's like, oh, look, it looks good. No yellowing, isn't it grand? Things happen. I can see some little dirt here and there on them. But that is the nature of a keyboard. So I will set to this very carefully over here. And then, of course, we'll find out absolutely, positively, for sure that this is dust, a short version of the board. See, if it's a long version and you look through these holes, you can usually see some sort of circuit board stuff. But if it's a short version, or maybe not, I'm trying to think there was some way. Because see, the holes, the screw holes here for the regular board would go to here. I'm not sure if you can see something overhanging or not, maybe just a little. And there was something else I remember. Maybe something with the shielding. Anyway, it's a short board. And of course, now that we're inside, where if you don't have a torque screwdriver, you can't get, you need to have a torque screwdriver to take off all the screws that hold the shielding in place. Now, the shielding, I did find over the years, they got smarter at, because, of course, heat is the enemy. Just ask Bill Hurd. And the shielding at the beginning, of course, was for FCC things about how this device will not put out any evil things into the air, but it will accept any evil that comes onto it. Which makes good sense, I suppose, in somebody's mind. But anyway, but then as things went on and they discovered things, like the first shielding was basically cardboard with like tin foil on it, which just made sure that the machine, while shielded, would get hot. Now I've got two screws here. I want to get them out of here. I don't want to lose them. One. Did I? Okay, I got them both out. 1, 2. Okay. Screws are now on the back. There are indeed 4 more. So, 3 screws to get the top of the machine off, 2 screws to get the keyboard out, and then 6 more little screws to get the shielding off. That also will release the circuit board. And as always, even in the midst of chaos, I don't want to lose the screws. So I think what I will do this time, because now the shielding will come off, is I'm going to turn this around ever so gently, lift it up, turn it over, screw, 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 screw. And if you look at this, see, the shielding now has little fingers. And the fingers go onto critical chips. And in this case, the chips they go onto are the ones that are in sockets. I'm surprised, actually, on some of the other shielding things they have things on, they have more fingers that go to more chips. They do. So now, as I look around here, oh, that's right, we are on the air. Alright, I have found a pencil. And I will now take the circuit board out. And you know what I like about this also is the shielding is not on the board. It's underneath. It gets mounted there, but it's not there. So now, as I look at these contacts on the user port and the cassette port, they are not horribly dirty, but a little bit dirty. And that is where the diagnostics attach. And remember, we're not dealing with high voltages and high amperages and stuff. It doesn't take much micro corrosion to detrimentally affect signals. That looks better. Should I do the bottom? I think, oh yeah, there's some dirt on here. Absolutely, positively. So on these ports like this, I typically do go back and forth a bunch, but then actually do individual pins one at a time to get rid of anything. And they do come out a whole lot shinier than they were. Because heat is the enemy. Micro corrosion happens. It just happens. Doesn't mean it's, oh my god, it's dirty, it's filthy, it's micro corrosion. Alright, now, I really can't get at many of the other things, but boy, this eraser has taken a bit of a beating, but that's not a bad thing. Alright, put that in there. And we'll look. And here is the demon that I don't like. That great big chip. The Super PLA. I don't like it. It's got, I think it's 64 pins. It's a big sucker. Officially, it's a 251715-01. I don't like it. I don't. I've never taken one out. I haven't been able to find a socket to put it in. It's funny, as I look at this one chip here, I do see well, it's not horrible corrosion. I mean, maybe it was just dust. Undoubtedly, dust happens too. So shows the other thing I will do while I'm here, because I can, I think I can, is, and I know everyone will say, or not everyone, but some people say, you should use a chip puller. Yes, I should. But I'm not going to. Once again, in the name of micro corrosion, I'm going to take the screwdriver, very gently put it underneath this chip, take the chip out, look at the pins. They look fine, but now that I think of it, and this is where you have to be more delicate and careful, because you don't want to break a pin. And I more likely am to go just down on each pin. And they don't look bad, but once again, micro corrosion is not always seen. Now I can, more gently than the edge connector, go back and forth on the whole thing, but I'm always afraid that if I catch one, I could do damage. So I push, but not as hard with the edge connector. And then, of course, there's the inside. So I do much the same. Very gently, each pin, back and forth. And the other thing this does is if there is just any, besides micro corrosion, a little dust, it'll get it off. So now, I have done that. See, this would have been a mistake at this moment. I looked, in the midst of all that twisting and turning and fixing and cleaning, I had the chip turned around. So if I just stuck it back in without looking for the witness mark, then, well, the chip would be in backwards, and that certainly would not help anything. So that chip, that's the video chip, it's back in. let's go for the sit chip. And once again, being very careful. The screwdriver fit very nicely under there. I pry ever so gently and get it out. And then go for the pins. I do. So I'm going just on each pin, one at a time, and they look pretty fine. And I'll go back and forth. And really, the top part of the pin, which is the safest to really rub, that's the part that's attached to the chip, doesn't make much difference. Because, although if there's stuff between it, that could make a difference. But that's not the part that's going into the socket that needs to make good contact. And we'll do the inside. Once again, being very careful not to bend or break a pin. And we'll look at the witness mark and line it up and put it in. And the last one, I believe, we've also got this white goop on it. The last one that we are dealing with, I believe it's the 6510. And it came out rather nicely as well. None of them really put up a fight. Some chips after, 40 years, they're really happy to stay where they are. Really happy, and you gotta be careful. Especially, usually, if any pins are going to be bent, they're the ones on the one end where you're taking it out. So I try to get the screwdriver underneath and then work it underneath all the way along, gently moving from side to side to get the chip come out nice and smooth. I try. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you end up with the last two pins a little bit bent. Just a little bit bent. Alright. Oh. Oh my. Now this was not my doing. And this pin, oh, this is something. I just took this out of here. I have not done anything to this side. But I don't know if you can see this. Maybe you can, but there is a pin right at the end there that's bent under. Now it must not do anything, or maybe that's why we were getting some of the errors we're getting. And it is bent like it has been like that forever. And I'm going to take this tiny little screwdriver and I'm going to do my best to get under it to convince this pin that it should wake up and come to the right side of the street here and come up, boy. I think for this delicate operation, because I really don't want to break this pin, I think I need glasses. Hang on. Oh, I think I have some here in a little box marked glasses. All right. Oh. Now, I know these ones are not going to be helpful in this endeavor. But they're cool. Now, in here, there are some reading glasses. They're a little dusty. So I'll give them a little wipe, which was somewhat helpful. I believe these are reading glasses. Oh yeah, now I can see much better. So this pin is now, it's bent under, and it's a little bit askew. And I'm just trying ever so delicately. Okay, I have it not so much askew. Now see, these pins, they're pretty robust. They will put up with some torment. But bent back and forth too many times, they will break off. I suspect that this thing has been like this for a very long time. It's funny, this is like twice and not very long. The one pin, I remember I found it was not, it was bent out, it wasn't in. Okay, oh, you know what? Looking along this chip, there's a bunch of pins that are somewhat askew. Let's look at this if we can. Along this side of that chip, there's a bunch of the pins that are kind of, it's not that they wouldn't work, but they've certainly, it's like they're dancing to their own tune off to the side. And I am not sure how much I should diddle around with them. Because once again, I don't want to break anything. I wonder if this went in for repair and this chip was replaced. Because definitely there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so pins on this side of the chip that are like tweaked and then bent back. Maybe whoever was putting it in put it in poorly, pulled it back out, didn't do much to tweak it, and put it back in, leaving that one pin out of place. Well, I never did get to do the eraser thing on this side of the chip. So I will do some of that, but very, very carefully and very delicately. And I really think I should, if I must, do some more work on these pins. But I don't want to do it yet. Because once I break a pin off, it's not the end of the world. But it certainly adds to the mess of it all. So I will do the inside of both rows. Funny, the one row is quite fine. That's why I suspect that somebody at some point, when putting this chip in, they doofed it. And it is easy to doof. All right. So we'll check the witness mark. I'm going to put the side in that is all perfect. I'm going to look at the other side with great care. Actually, maybe I'll make sure that the doofy side is all lined up. And then push it in. And from what I can tell, it's okay. Interesting. All right, at this moment, I'm going to move the bottom of the case. I'm going to put this down on the table. The table is plastic, so it should not. Oh, there's nowhere to put anything here. I'll put this up here and hope that it doesn't fall, because it's in pretty nice shape. It's gonna fall. Oh, that's a disaster waiting to happen. I'll put this here. Okay. Ow. Alright, so now after oh dear. Oh dear. Oh. After cleaning the contacts, checking the chips, etc., 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 I will strive to find the power supply that I had plugged in here, which I think I have found, but I don't know for sure if it's it because there's other ones around here. And the video. So it's free of anything that would short it out. I will turn the monitor on. And assuming I actually have the right power supply here, maybe things will happen. Oh. Well, that is not what I expected. I don't know if you can see that. But this 64 that was working is now squirrely. Now, I am looking to see